is ready to cut rates starting in September. Welcome back to the Bitcoin Layer. I'm Nick Bhatia. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the Fed getting into rate cuts mode. We'll talk about the stock market and Bitcoin's price, and we'll talk about what happened this week with CPI. I want to start on the global level and remind you guys that these central banks, they work together and coordinate on policy. They might not be cutting and raising rates on the same day or within the same month, but generally they all trend together. Look at this chart here with several central banks and their policy rate here on the screen. In black, you have Australia. In purple, you have Canada. Blue is Switzerland. Red is the United Kingdom. Green is the ECB in Europe. And finally, orange is the U.S. Central Bank, the Federal Reserve. Now, what do you see during 2022 and 2023? They were all hiking rates together. Then what happened toward the end of 2023? They all flattened out. They all paused. So this is not a coincidence. This is a global economy and all the major banks coordinating their policy. This has been done for decades now. The coordination of these central banks stems back to the meetings in the 1960s and 1970s in Basel at the Bank for International Settlements, in which this place in Basel, the tower, became the meeting place and the place of coordination for all these central banks. Now, the tower was late 70s, but these meetings in Basel started in the early 1960s. So we know that for decades, central banks have been coordinating policy. We see that once again here in the 2020s, going into a global cutting wave. Now, Switzerland was first. You see that blue line step down twice now in 2024. After Switzerland came the Bank of Canada. In purple, Canada has already done its first rate cut. They will be heading into more. Then you have Europe in green. Europe cut rates, and the European Central Bank is expected to continue to cut rates. In red, we have a Bank of England rate cut being priced in for the back half of this year. And now we have the Fed being locked in for its rate cut path starting in September. Now, we'll talk more about why exactly we got the signal that September is a go. It's a very, very important signal. It's something that we'll cover talking about treasury yields as well. But I want to start with the global picture to show you guys these rates all move together. So the fact that Switzerland, Canada, and Europe have all gone already, it shouldn't be a surprise to you when the US also goes.